Hey guys, so Korean rice cake. You've seen it in tteokbokki, glazed on skewers in New Year's soup, made into beautiful desserts and formed into various shapes. It is one of Korea's most iconic ingredients. Today, we will learn how fresh rice cake is made in Korea. My husband and my mother-in-law were amazing in helping me to get an insider view of how Korean rice cake is made. They took me to a local rice shop that makes not only rice flour, but various kinds of rice cakes. The owner has been making rice cakes for 32 years. Just by looking at the rice, he could tell how old it was and how fresh it was. It was really amazing to see and it definitely goals. Let's begin by talking about the different types of rice that is used to make rice cake and how they are treated differently from each other. So, as a whole, good quality rice is rice that was harvested in the same year. Before being made into rice cakes, good quality rice is soaked for 4 to 5 hours. Old rice is rice that was harvested a year plus ago. Before being made into rice cake, old rice, it has to soak for 7+ hours. Old rice doesn't mean that it's not safe to eat. It just means if you use old rice in comparison to good quality rice, the flavor of the rice cake will be a little less delicious. Now, let's talk about the types of rice used to make rice cakes. Sticky rice, aka glutinous rice, aka chapsal, is a smaller, more pale white colored rice. When you grind sticky rice into rice flour, it's very important that you don't handle it with your bare hands. If you touch the sticky rice with your bare hands, it will not cook well when it's steamed because the oil and the moisture from your hands will mess it up. Sticky rice flour is most known to be used in the birthday cake duck that is called in Korean patsirudak. Regular rice, aka sal, is the rice that you would probably see on any given day in your rice cooker. It is not super sticky and is longer and more transparent in color when raw compared to the sticky rice. When you grind regular rice flour, it's okay to touch it with your hands. It won't get messed up. This type of rice flour is used when making colored and flavored types of rice cake. When making rice cake, this type of flour gets water added to it. Depending on the amount of rice, the percentage of water differs. Regular rice flour is what is used to make the tube-shaped rice cakes that I'm going to show you how are made today. Okay, so let's go. Let's see how this fresh rice cake is made right now. The rice was dropped off the day before and then soaked overnight. So the next day when we came to the shop, the rice was drained of all water and weighed. We had 5.5 kilograms of rice. In Korea, a different measuring system from kilos and pounds is used when measuring food. To make this easier for all of us though, I just went off what the scale said. So the next step is to put the rice into the mill. There were 2 mills. The one on the left was used solely for colored rice flour and flavored rice flour and for grinding perilla seeds to add to the rice flour. The one that you will see the most in this video is used solely for white rice flour. So, after adding the rice to the mill, 2.5 spoonfuls of coarse salt was added to the rice before it was ground through. As you may know, this amount of salt is to enhance the flavor and it wouldn't make a salty or salted rice cake flavor. The rice flour is then taken to a table in the bowl and then water is added to it. The mixture is then combined by hand by the owner and then it is placed back into the mill and ground for a second final time. When the rice flour comes out the second time, it looks just like bingsu. It's so cool how the water can add such a different texture. When I studied abroad in Korea, the first time I ever had fresh rice cake was when my roommate's mother came and brought fresh rice cake and a sticky, sweet, red pepper gochujang sauce that you could dip it in. And so I recreated that gochujang sauce and the recipe is going to be on my blog at hiskoreanstomach.com. So if you are going to enjoy rice cakes and you want to try that, then go on my blog for the full recipe and tell me how you like it. Okay, so now that the rice is made into flour and fully ground, we can move on to the steaming portion of the rice cake making process. First, a layer of rice flour is placed inside of a square metal mold that is lined with a parchment-like paper on the bottom. The rice is not firmly pressed inside, it's gently spread so that the air and the steam can get through all of the rice flour and fully steam all parts of it. The first layer of rice flour steamed for about 6 minutes and 25 seconds. After that time, a second layer of rice flour is added to the top and steamed for 1 minute and 41 seconds. At this point, the rice flour is edible and is a texture that is ideal for many different kinds of rice cakes like these. But we want to make a firmer texture. So at this time, the lid of the steamer was placed on top of the rice flour and it continued to be steamed for 9 minutes and 33 seconds. So altogether, the rice cake took approximately 18 to 19 minutes. I know because I just recorded it with my camera the entire process, and that's why I can go down to the second. But of course, I don't think that he goes down to the second, but just in case you're curious. The cool thing about the steamer is that there's a hose attachment that goes outside the shop, so the steam that is generated all goes outside and the whole store is not just covered in steam. This is also kind of cool if you're walking by a shop. If you see steam, then you know rice cake is being made. After the rice flour is completely finished steaming, it is time to make them into the log-shaped rice cakes. The rice cake is flipped over onto a sink area that has a built-in mill inside of it. First, the parchment paper is removed from the bottom of the rice cake and thrown away. The rice cake is then pushed through the sink mill and comes out through 2 holes that form the log shape of the rice cake and into a bucket of water. The bucket of water helps to keep the rice cake log separated so that it doesn't stick together. After the cooked rice cake goes through the sink mill once, it is put through 2 more times. So in all, it goes through the sink mill 3 times. As the rice cake comes out of the hole for the 3rd time, the owner cut the rice cake to their designated length and then placed it to the side. Surprisingly, the rice cakes were super hot even after going through the mill. I was really surprised about the owner's heat tolerance. I say that I can stand some hot pan, but that was a hot rice cake. So now that the rice cake logs are cut, they're ready to be packaged. Sesame oil is rubbed on all of the rice cake logs to keep them from sticking together and to add a nice flavor. After the sesame oil is added, then the rice cakes are ready to be packaged. Okay, so there you have it. That is how fresh rice cake in Korea is made. If you guys want to know more about Korean rice cakes, then please subscribe because I will be making some recipes soon. If you want to see more in-depth videos like this, where I really go in on a Korean ingredient, then please like and subscribe as well. And also tell me if you're interested in a particular ingredient, and then I will do some research. Keep up with me on the daily and follow my Instagram. Don't forget the recipe for the sweet red pepper paste sauce that you dip your rice cake in is on my blog at hiskoreanstomach.com. And thanks again for watching, and I'll see you next week. Bye!